Well, just like any other kid, I just enjoyed riding bikes around the neighborhood or whatever, but the feeling of BMX isn't really like any other sports. BMX, you kind of have your own self-satisfaction and the stuff that you can learn on your own, and just having fun with your friends, and just, I don't know, it's just really fun. I got into some pretty jacked up stuff, man. If I would have just kept on that path, the path of destruction, man, I'd probably be in prison right now. I was getting involved with causing mayhem all around the neighborhood. Anywhere I'd go, we'd always want to break stuff or steal stuff, mainly. I wanted to get my hands on everything just to have it. And if I wanted it, I would always try and get it. I would always chase after just girl after girl, man. And, I mean, that's a big struggle for a lot of guys, but that was my main struggle that was chained to me. I guess what I thought life was all about, that was just me chasing BMX, because that's where I found most of my joy. I wanted to chase the sponsors and go on a big contest, get into the X Games. I got all the sponsors and I got the car I wanted and stuff like that, but there was still something missing. I was still reaching for more, and I didn't know what that was. Then something huge happened in my life, and I had a bad crash at a pro contest, and I ruptured my spleen, and I almost died that day. On the way to the hospital in the ambulance, and they didn't know I was actually bleeding internally, and they thought all the blood on the ground around me was from a laceration on my eye. On the way to the hospital, I was in critical condition, and they didn't know why. So as soon as I got to the hospital, they gave me that CAT scan, and they found out what was going on inside. I had all that bleeding internally, and found out that I ruptured my spleen. So I woke up in the hospital. I had 26 staples up my stomach and realized that I got a second chance. And that's really what made me think of God, and how much thanks I can give to Him, because I'm still here, that I had a second chance that some people don't get. That was my turning point of, man, I really do need to chase after God, because with all this other stuff, I mean, what do we have? I mean, He's the most important thing. It just made me realize that. And once I learned more and more about what God did, sending His one and only Son to this earth, Jesus, to die for us. He lived a life that we could not live, a perfect life. I knew that I'd messed up so much, and that He died on that cross for all the stuff that I was doing wrong. And that's really when it clicked, of having my relationship with God and what it meant to be a Christian and what a walk looked like with God. That's how I truly found my purpose of what I was doing. Being surrounded by the right people was definitely made me realize, like, okay, this is what a Christian looks like. This guy is living totally different than all the people I've been hanging out with in my life. Like, what's different about this guy? What does he have that I need in my life? Getting my hands dirty in ministry and changing people's lives and telling them about the hope that I found in my life through ministry. I mean, that's really what life is all about. That's why God gave me this gift of riding bikes and using it as a tool to reach people. When I truly found out what it meant to live a Christian life and what that walk was all about, instead of living for myself, I found out this: to strengthen your relationship with God, you need to go to church, you need to stay in the Word, because that's spending time with God. The Bible is kind of like a guideline of how we should live our life, because there's these commandments in there, and how we're supposed to live our life, and what Jesus was like, and how we should live like Jesus did, because that's what being a Christian is all about, is being Christ-like, because He was the perfect example of what the human race was supposed to be. And just reading through the Bible and learning how He was and the things that He did, I mean, that's the inspiration that we need to see, I guess, because that's what we need to strive toward, because Jesus is perfection, and to be like Him in every way that we can. If you hung out with me now, you would have never guessed my past. I mean, that's how different my life used to be, and how much God has changed my life now. Because I'm a complete different person than what I used to be, because of what God has done in my life and how much He has changed my heart.